Check, check. Welcome in, everybody. Glad to have you guys here. Glad to have you guys on time. We'll see what kind of a turnout we get. Tonight is the first night of Mastermind, which is fine if there's a small class in here because people in Mastermind are going to dedicate themselves a little bit stronger and more, So that's right. This is a small class, but give it 1 or 2 minutes. You guys let people trickle in, see the premium tag, and as usual, put your tickers in. Gonna be a tricky night. Um, Futures are already gapped down pretty bad. It's not really updating anything else as of now, so we'll do what we can tonight for sure. Try and build a game plan. Actually, I probably just updated. Let's see. Yep, it's a bloodbath. So got some things I'm going to talk about, you guys. Of course, charting as usual, just some things to look at, some things to watch out for this week. And we'll just try and build a game plan best we can. But yeah, give it 1 or 2 more minutes, guys. Thanks. All right, guys, one more premium tag and we will get started. Again, appreciate y'all being here. See some new faces, see some regulars. JJ, Ethan, I see you. Che, good to see you. But yeah, with that, you guys, one more message and we'll dive in. Aaron, good to see you. Laro, Roberto, good to see you. All right, guys, it's another Sunday scan. Hopefully, mentally, emotionally, financially, and I mean that seriously. Hopefully, you guys are doing okay after last week. Kind of what we're seeing in the markets is kind of, we've had crashes before, we've had hard sells before. This is kind of a little bit unprecedented for sure. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. I'm not going to dance around that. It is pretty ugly in the markets, what we're seeing for sure. But I'm gonna try and build you guys a game plan on how I would trade this. Obviously, we know the markets have and will always be data and news dependent. Errol, I see your comment. I'll write your request down. I'll also see that in video as well, guys. Thank you for those requests. Let me write that down. But yeah, so basically this week, you guys, I tried to find the right words and the right kind of topics to talk about to kick off. I don't have much, but other than just a couple things, I kind of wanted to get the conversation going. We're selling. Do we buy the dip? If yes, what is the game plan? Start small, long term. If no, why not? What are we waiting for? What should we wait for? What are we looking for? And then our usual charting. So the first part of this class will go a little bit long on SPY and QQQ and kind of just overall market analysis. And I'll definitely get to some requests for you guys for sure. I'll make sure I'll get one from everybody. But I kind of talked to River a little bit last week, kind of just because I wanted his perspective on just how, I choose my words tonight, what to say, because it's different. It's not just a sell, a pullback. This is based on fear in the market, fear of investors, fear, of tariffs, which, most people are saying is very, very inflationary. And then, another reason that markets sell off at any time, not just tariffs, is when there's uncertainty. And right now there's tons and tons of uncertainty. Trump put the tariffs on last week or announced it as expected. He didn't back off on the strength of them like like people were anticipating or wanted him to. And he stuck with it. And so right now, if I'm reading the information right, there's kind of a blanket 10% tariffs, that we've kind of known about. And then this 2-0 Wednesday, it's kind of a sort of, I think, another deadline. So we announced that last week, and now he's kind of saying, hey, 2-0 Wednesday, whether you come to the negotiating table or not, this is excuse me, if you don't come to the negotiating table, other countries, this is when they're going to come into effect. And so that is really what the market is literally hinging on by a thread right now. And so that is what's really tough. So from that aside, if the answer is, do we start nibbling buying the dip? There's kind of a two-part answer to this. So if the answer is yes, you absolutely want to start small and you want to have a longer term perspective. And so I don't mean, SPY is trading right now at like 485 basically. So, if we're buying down to here, you're not looking to buy, or you shouldn't be looking to buy to flip this in a couple of days. So if you guys need to have, or you should have, or at least I have a long-term portfolio, buy and hold shares, dollar cost average, stuff like that. And I have an options trading portfolio as well. And so that is kind of my perspective tonight, or my advice to you guys is, if you're choosing to buy in and start small. I always recommend 1/3 position size or even 1/4 because of so much uncertainty. So if you want to buy SPY, QQQ, Apple, whatever it is, we're down, like I said right here on this, we're down, on Friday's close, we're down more, but as of Friday's close, we're down 18%. So you want to nibble on the way down, but your horizon perspective, especially for this event, should be, I don't know if it's months or years that we recover from this, but you shouldn't be buying down here and saying, well, 1K told me to buy and expecting to be in profit on Friday or next Friday or in May or June, because I don't know that. I can't predict that. Nobody can. But all I can say is, every other event that's happened, the market has and will recover. Does it take a couple months or a couple years? We don't know. That's the wild card. That is the question. And so, kind of going back here, just a little, lesson on history. I kind of charted out the most recent sell downs. So if you guys were around in 2022 when we were trading, this was basically all the inflation kicking in, kind of the things coming out of COVID. And then inflation was ramping up after we recovered basically in the markets. and we sold down to this low, we sold down 28%. So, that took, a while, of course, 8 to 10 months, not a few weeks. But again, we sold down. And if you bought that dip, if you bought that fear from that low there, again, this was October 2022, we have since gone up 75%. So, things get ugly and they look ugly, especially when you're zoomed in, but I encourage you guys to always zoom out. COVID, you guys should all remember that 35% crash in February, and we bottomed out March 23rd. And another thing to note, COVID wasn't over on March 23rd. I mean, that was ramping up. But what did the markets do? The markets were pumping. They're pumping money, into the economy to try and get us out of that sticky situation, and recovered. If you bought that dip on that low of COVID, again, you cannot time the bottom. This is just perspective. You'd be up, since the next dip, you'd be up 120% just from that COVID low to the 2022 high. So again, just perspective, you guys. Again, this chart, a little bit sharp, this chart gradual, and this chart is ugly. Again, no denying that. But my point is, you guys, if you don't want a dollar cost average here at 600 or 610, well, now stuff is 18% on sale. Obviously there's news again in the market, and it makes it tricky, it makes it fearful, but again, you cannot time the dip. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 years from now, you might look at this and go, man, I wish I would have bought more. And so that is my perspective, you guys. That is kind of my advice on, if yes, that is the game plan. And then also, if we don't get the news as in bullish news, if Trump does not pull off the tariffs, or if there's nothing negotiated, or if other countries, don't pull theirs off, or whatever it is, again, Tuesday, Wednesday is kind of the deadline, I believe, if I'm correct. If that's not pulling off, I don't know how much is too much of a sell, but we're probably going to sell into new lows. But if there's any sniff or any rumors or any hints of tariff news, we are going to fly and we're going to bounce. And it's going to be one of those days where if you go to the 15-minute chart, there's not going to be any red candles all day, probably multiple days. And there's going to be people trying to say, hey, should I short this? And the answer is no. We, the term face ripper or pump or whatever you want to call it, we're going to pump so hard if Trump folds or backpedals, whatever you want to call it, or if another country kind of settles and meets us in the middle, we are going to bounce very, very hard. Okay. So some levels to watch, you guys. Normal charting session. Now I just kind of want to talk to you guys about that a little bit. Again, I started some daily levels here. I started to mark some levels, but I didn't want to get too far ahead of myself because I think it's important to kind of chart some levels, why I have them, why I pick them, kind of thing. But let me clear some of this real quick for you. Let me get these Bollinger Bands off. And we'll build a game plan again, you guys. I see requests in the chat. We'll definitely get those as well. So let's start the daily. I know we're well below this 500 level, but let's go the daily chart and just see kind of how things, how I think they'll line up. So the first area of interest I kind of want to focus on, you guys. For me, it's kind of this 479. I kind of looked at some charts again before class, and this 470 to 479 pocket I kept coming back to. So what I'm gonna do here, you guys, I'm gonna grab this high wick here, or this high zone here from December of 2021. And then again, I want to get this kind of 470-ish here, because you can see here, if we focus here, we can kind of see the push, failed breakout, like I say over and over. I'm probably pretty repetitive on my classes, but failed breakout, finally push over, and they sell down and never made it back over until then. Okay, and so we start looking left, and we come back to December 13th, 2023 again. Struggle here, back and forth, a breakout retest, and boom, a breakout retest, and it was on off 470. So that's really the levels I really kind of want to focus on here, you guys. I know there's gonna be a lot of questions. What levels, do we mark? We can get some intraday downside levels as well, but for starters, you guys, 480, 47, 470, and another one at 460. And those are the big dailies where I think we need to just really kind of zoom out and say, okay, where's price moving back and forth, back and forth? Does that make sense to everybody? Kind of why I'm doing that, why I'm starting with the daily. We can see that 460 here, how it kind of topped out there, consolidation breakout, and then we look left, and it kind of that zone of focus right there, then and there. Like if we get below 460, you know, next week or the coming weeks, we can definitely revisit this. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but those are the three levels on the daily that I want to focus on. Okay. We have now gapped under 500. That's a huge psychological number, definitely. Let's see, is there a time with those flows? Laura, I don't. Is there a time with those? I'm gonna come back to that question. I'll let you unmute as well. I'm not sure just how you word. I'm not sure how to answer that. So SPY right now, you guys, is gap below the important, the psychological 500, and we're down around 485. So again, our first line of defense, you guys, I think is that 480, 47 ish. Again, 470 and 460 level. So any bounces, you guys, any relief bounces, again, you know how we play the markets is any broken support is now resistance. So some drawings like I always do, we're opening, let's just assume we open here. We kind of have two options. Where are we going to go? We're going to go to this support likely, and maybe we consolidate out and leg down, or maybe we bounce. Or if we open kind of where we are now, what is the area to focus on? Well, first area of focus is and should be is this gap, from right now. So going into Monday, this overnight gap is the main focus. And so as we push into it, we're pushing the gap, and it's literally just this volume gap right here of price action. So we push up, you definitely should be taking trim for sure. And then we know how we always play this when we get to our final target of a gap fill and lined up with Friday's close. That would be a final target for me. So that is kind of my game plan, how I would trade this, how I looked at, trade this huge gap down. In all honesty, I probably won't trade, definitely that first hour tomorrow because, hard sell all last week, another gap down tomorrow, flash crash, Black Monday, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be a very ugly open. And so, worst thing you can do is take a trade Monday, first 5-minute candle of the day and wreck your port, for the rest of the day. It kind of runs everything for the rest of the day. So just some things to watch on SPY, the S&P 500. Does anybody have any questions? Again, this is kind of unprecedented territory, I guess you could say, because of just this huge gap down. I don't have a lot to work with on the huge gap or when it does gap like that. But if anybody's have any specific questions, then I can move on to QQQ and some of your other requests as well. But all right. QQQ, our last chance or our last support that we charted last week, we've now gapped under that. We are down bad for sure. No doubt about that. But again, we talked about, what did I talk about? SPY 500. What is QQQ trading around? 400. So that first round number should be our first line defense. Let's go to the daily chart, you guys. I'm on default mode here. I'll just leave it at this just for speed of the class. But let's build a game plan how I would trade this zone in here, and we'll get some daily levels, and then we'll zoom in intraday as well. So let's focus on January of last year. So January 24 to this kind of range here, January to April. So again, my charting style, how I usually do things, you guys, I look for big moves in the market up and down. So I see a push up, a sell down, a retrace. And so I'm kind of hovering over here. I'm looking to see if that lines up. And immediately as I hover over here, you guys, if you look left, that retrace, that wick lines perfectly up with this. So this is definitely a level I think we need to mark on the daily. Basically 413 flat. So if you guys are following along in real time, we're going to take screenshots or notes. A lower range, 413 flat for sure. Okay. I know we're under that, so we're going to keep moving our way down. And I'm just looking in real time with you guys here. I don't want to grab every single level. I'm just looking for some main ones to kind of get us going. I want to grab this one here, this 404.12. I see this wick here, the sell down, the big bounce up. It lines up with this candle here, and I see some candle body closes here and a push up to here, and it kind of stalled out. Moving down, let's see what anything lines up down here. We don't have a ton of stuff to work with here, but definitely this level here. I see a candle body close here, and it lines up with this one here. So just some stuff I'm playing at and around there. And then I want to see how this 400, was there much price action? We were around there. I'd say so. So these are some levels on the daily, guys, to get us started. Again, we can go intraday and find a bunch of stuff if we need to. But 404.12, one could argue it's just maybe 404 flat 400. 390 or 394.36 is another one. So if we kind of break that 400, I can see us kind of trickling down this pocket here. A zoomed in look, how far, let's see how far I go back here. If I can go back, yeah, go back a whole year. So some intraday levels, just to get us going on, piggybacking on what we just talked about there. So I need to go back a full year. I wish I could scrub to it quicker. See how long this takes or doesn't take. And March, April, June. All right, there we go. That's Jesse, that's just what I'm reading. I don't know if I can pull up an article quick enough, but I was just reading, I think I talked to River too. Trump let me just see if I can find the article here. I don't want to astray you guys, but someone can definitely correct me, but I thought that's what they said before. It's basically, I think he was just saying, hey, the tariffs are coming. You guys have, this is your deadline or whatever to figure shit out to come to the negotiating table if you want to. I think was his mindset, and so yeah, off the top of my head, I'm assuming that's what it was. He was giving him a chance to come to the negotiating table or whatever you want to call it to try and figure that out. But the stuff the big whiteboard that he held up, from what I'm reading, that has not taken an effect yet, but it is going to this week. But again, someone jump in the chat if I'm totally wrong. So some intraday levels, you guys, on Q. So you can see how we start out on the daily and how we pushed up to that 413. We kind of retraced down this 404.12. And we can see, you guys, I'm on the 1 hour chart now. You kind of see how that price level still comes into play, still makes sense on the 30-minute chart. We come into here, we kind of consolidate around here, we sell down. We bounce here, we come into here. January 5th, over a year ago, we bounced. So some intraday levels, I think that definitely makes sense. Let me get you guys a couple levels here so you guys can mark it and have some trades to go off of tomorrow. So I'm definitely, why did that unmark there? Right away, guys, I see this level here. So I see a push up consolidation, failed breakout, sell down, push up, this zone here, basically 410, push up, failed breakdown, push up, consolidate, break over, consolidation, sell down, consolidation, sell under, failed breakout. You guys get the point. So 410, any pushes up into that 410 this week, that's a big, big level to watch. A mid to lower zone here, 406, I definitely is a big level as well, you guys. And I'll just get one or two more for you guys here. 401.71. So again, you guys, I don't spend too much time on this because I kind of already am, but take a screenshot, take the levels, whatever you guys want to do on this for some trading levels for QQQ, because there's free requests rolling in. I don't want to skip anybody. So with that, you guys, I'll come back to SPY QQQ after class if we need to, but I'm going to get to your chart requests now. So username R, NVIDIA, popular one as well. We're opening 87.3, so let's just get a line here, see where we're opening at, see if it makes sense. Kind of 87.26, 87.23. Yep, definitely. All right, let's go to the daily. Let's get a game plan for you. So on the daily, so it's not going to show this candle right now, but we're going to open right here, are around 87.1-ish, 87.4, give or take. So definitely a sell into that level here. So how do we play this level? Let me get some levels for you here and I'll build a game plan. Not in yet, just perspective. All right, cool. That helps a lot. Appreciate that. Get some levels here. All right, so I'm kind of looking here for those of you guys watching or following along, kind of this zone here, just this push, consolidation, push, breakout, likely from earnings there, and never really looked back. And then a dip into that 90 level, big bounces, and then we sold under that now. So let's kind of get a game plan, again, 30-minute, 1 hour chart, and kind of see how I would trade this. So again, it's going to be very volatile tomorrow with the gap down. So again, I recommend trying to wait at least 30 minutes after the open, an hour even better, just to see kind of the market sentiment. But any opens at our support, that's the first thing I'm watching. And then after that, if we push up, my mindset is immediately gap fill, and then this 1 hour wick here could be top and bottom. So if we hold this level, again, first instinct has to be start thinking a gap fill. So if you bottom tick, congratulations. Trim on the way up where you like. I like to trim levels, obviously. There's some levels in between here, but we were just on the the daily chart. So definitely an upper range target, that 90.48, 90.48 definitely. And then as we get into that gap fill, even before that gap fill, let me correct myself, probably 92 flat is that low of day on Friday. So if you're in calls off the low of a previous day or from a previous day and we're pushing up, you should always be looking left, always be looking on the previous day price action. So absolutely, any push up into here, any hard bounces, that's that 92 level, that's going to be resistance if this isn't already. First attempt here, I expect to see some kickbacks, some sell orders kicking in, and probably a little bit of a dip down into that 92, unless it's just a super vicious buyback day. That's some stuff to watch. Any sells under, again, 87.10. I'm definitely looking for this candle, depending on where we open pre-market tomorrow. That 85.7 down, that 85 flat, and lower range on the day. What I'd be looking for, 82.44. Say you have a larger portfolio, maybe you're in 3 of them. You sold one here, you sold one here, and you want to hold a runner because you feel like you hit a good trade on puts, that's fine. Mark this 82.44 in the chart, and then just look left. We got to go back to, like I said, whatever we were on that chart. Whatever that chart was that day, excuse me. You'd have to go back to March 15th of last year, kind of into this zone here, April, May of last year, so a year ago. That'll kind of line up. Hopefully that answers your question, gives you some perspective how to play that. Again, you guys, everything's going to be a huge gap down. It's going to be tricky because for me, I don't like playing huge gap downs or up. I'm fearful of it's a gap down, am I buying the bottom? And the same thing is like, okay, is the sell warranted? Which, in this case it is. Do we keep dipping and I'm trying to buy the dip and it's basically literally, a falling knife? And so, in all honesty, I might give some levels tomorrow, but I probably am not going to trade because I just want to see how things shake out. I'm going to be keeping ears and eyes open for any news related stuff. I'm going to keep my Twitter open for market news to see if anything trickles in to make it warranted for a further leg down in the markets. Okay. Let's see. Zoom user, not sure if you just joined. We already went over SPY QQQ. I will circle back around for that. Just go in the requests in order. Errol, Marvel, I think that's what that is. MRVL. Errol, if you're still in here, are you in this trade or just want some perspective? Let me know and I'll kind of help you out. And I guess I should have mentioned, guys, let me know. I'm assuming these are for options for day trades, but if you're looking for shares, I can trade or change my thought process on this. So let's get some lines for Errol here on Marvel. Definitely going to grab that Friday low for sure, because that 47.31 lines up with that level there before the bounce. lines up with that earnings gap over, lines up with this failed breakout, failed breakout, failed breakout, sell down, sell to it, support, support, support. And I'm looking at some data right now. We're at 44.72. So we're going to open right around kind of that middle consolidation zone. So I'm going to grab this lower zone here, definitely. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody. I'm looking October of 2022, so a few years ago. But if I keep zooming left, you know, that level matters. So this is a very tradable chart for sure. Definitely some levels here. Let's get kind of a mid to lower level to watch, and maybe kind of an upper middle level to watch here. Perspective for dollar, or perspective for Marvel, ASML, dollar cast. Okay, so I'm still on Marvel. So let's go to an intraday chart and kind of see how things are shaking out. So again, like I said, most things we are gapping down heavily. So if we remember, we're on the daily. This was just for, I guess, some visualization, you guys. This was the upper range, and now it is our upper range resistance. This is our lower range extreme, and we got some levels to play in between there. So I'm not, you know, specifically saying, hey, you know, a day trade on puts is going to come all the way down here, but this is on the daily. This is that lower range. So what we need to do, you guys, when we come into these zones here, we haven't been to in a while. We need to build a game plan, because if we, you know, we see sell, 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 and you're like, oh, awesome, awesome, bearish, bearish, bearish. You're like, okay, we've been bearish for 30 minutes. You know, now I'm going to take puts here. Well, it's like you missed the move, target 1, 2, 3, and now bottom of the range. Now you want puts. Like that's bad trading. That is bad trade planning. You know, building a trade plan, that is, you're literally skipping it. You know, the first step of a trade plan is charting out your levels, finding your plan. So, okay, we chart out the levels, we're building a game plan. Let's say we open here around 44, you know, we push up, you know, breakouts are kind of failing, markets are still looking weak, news is still bad, boom. First target here, 4472 into that 42 flattish, that low of this price action so far. Okay, we sell down. So PT1, price target 1. You're in 3 of them, you sold, or you're in 5 of them, you sold 2, hypothetically. You sell down. Where do we sell? Trim on the way down if you like the money, or trim at your level. Boom. Sold another $4 down. I don't know if we're going to, but again, sell down. Any sells in that lower range, these are on the daily levels, you guys. If we sell down into here, Arrow, this week, and we start kind of, you know, sellers are looking a little bit like they're getting tired, a little bit exhausted, we start consolidating. You know, Tuesday, Wednesday rolls around, maybe we're getting hints of some news, you know, maybe it's a safe buy at that big level, because we chart this out on the daily. This isn't just some random level on the 5-minute chart, the 1-minute chart. This is our daily chart. Lots of volume here, you guys, around this 36.64. So we start trickling and holding here, you know, not where I want to start a position on puts. We sell down, markets are weak, absolutely take some more puts. But any consolidation here, and this yellow line here for me, my hourly 20, if that starts catching up and our price action is now over that, that is a bit of a bullish signal. So start looking to buy some bounces. So again, this goes for any chart tonight, you guys. Find your big levels. If you want to buy the bounce, it has to make sense why you're buying the bounce. Same on if you want to buy puts and you're shorting, it has to make sense where you take your short at. Okay. I see your request, Norman. Going in order, brother. I'll get to it. You're probably up next, or one more after that. But yeah, Errol, hopefully answers your question. If not, hit me in the DMs, and I'll help you out some more if we need to. And I'll circle back on ASML. I just want to make sure I get to everyone's request. All right, Norman. CLH. Guess what? Still got the levels here from when you wanted it last time we were charting it. So on the 30-minute, we are gapping down, Norman, to 37.42. That is a daily 20. Daily 20 moving average stacked right there. Okay, let's check the daily. Let's see if this again, let's just draw a nice thick line here. So when I go to the daily, we can figure out where the hell it lines up, if it makes sense on the daily. Look at that. So we're going to gap down right here, you guys. Gapping down to support, gapping down right on top of a moving average. Markets are weak, no doubt, lots of fear, but man, we're gapping down to big support. Lines up with that. lines up with that. When we topped out there and then sold down, topped out there, sold down, topped out, sold down, break over, support, support, support until it's not. So what do we do? Resistance, resistance, you break over, it is now support. So 32.47. If market stalls out, if market looks sideways or any sniff of a bullish bounce, 32.47 is your level, brother, for sure. But markets are super weak. So any sells under, basically what I'm getting at is, there we go. I don't want any puts at support. I want puts on a sell under, which as of now we're selling under. So a sell under, a breakout. Damn, markets chill. A sell under, so a breakdown, a retest. That is your put entry. That is your ideal put entry for your lowest risk, because your stop out is somewhere in this zone here, this pre-market action zone here. You have a small stop out zone. You have a huge potential reward zone. So any sells under 32.47, definitely. So a retest, failed breakout, retest, failed breakout, boom, take your puts there. If we break over, that's fine. Small loss, wait for a breakout retest, get your calls. We're day traders. Don't get married to a trade. But any sells under, failed breakout retest, boom, get your puts, come down here, trim, 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 all the way down. 32.47, you guys following along. 31.32 and 30.66. Quick drink of water, sorry about that. Try long QQQ 400, it's not ready to gap down. QQQ, yeah. It's tough, brother. Everyone is going to try and grab the dip, whether it's today or whether it's tomorrow, whether it's tomorrow midday, whether it's Tuesday, whether it's a month from now. I don't know what the bottom is of this market, but all I know is be ready, because when it bounces, it's going to bounce very, very hard. And there's not going to be any, there's going to be pullbacks, obviously, people taking profit, but it's not going to be a bounce you want to short. Like I said, I don't know when that comes, you guys. I want to be bullish on this market because, it's good for our retirement, but, we're day traders. Let's take what we can get. We should be thankful that we can trade this market because, our grandparents, if they're still alive, our parents, they just look at their 401k going down, most likely. But us, we are day traders. I'm not going to say ignore the Roth, but just don't look at it every day. My roommate, not kidding, he's down about $65,000 on Apple shares. His dollar cost average, I think I've told this story several times, I think his average cost for Apple is like 60 or 80 bucks. He bought, well, whenever it was around that zone. So, it's mentally, it's hurting him, but it's in his retirement account. And, hopefully however long from now it recovers and he's back up, but he's literally down like 65,000 bucks since last week. So, there's a lot of pain, you guys, but, there is bright spots on the horizon. So do not get freaked out, you guys. Again, if you sell now, maybe you're selling the bottom. Maybe we bounce, we never look back, and you're gonna go, shit, why'd I freak out? Or maybe we go lower in your dollar cost average, and in 2 months from now you go, shit, why are we freaking out? It is, this is different. The tariff news is different. We have not done this, or at least in my lifetime. So things are different, but I'm not liquidating my 401k, that's for sure. All right, hopefully that helps you on Celsius. Going through the chat again, trying to get caught up. Laro, am I able to just unmute you only? I don't know how to do this. Let's see. If you're still in here, Laura, I just don't understand how you worded your question. Is there time if there's time, are there flow? Okay, sorry. Check flow. We may have to talk in DMs, Laura, on some flow on some of this, but I'll get to it. Definitely. I'll check some flow for you. Sorry, I didn't read that question very good. JT, if you're still in here, let's check some IWM. And then I see that 3M as well. I just want to get to everybody's requests, at least one of them. IWM, this is small caps, you guys. We have gap down, of course, quite a bit. Let's just get a line here going to see where the heck we're at. We'll jump to the daily, see if that line makes sense. And we're kind of in some levels. So this could be a good one because I don't trade this one. So we're going to chart this in real time. But look at this. Oh, look at this consolidation. I love this. This is what's about here. This is how you find some good levels here. So again, how I chart you guys over and over. I look for big pushes up and down. So before I start here, this is what I would call JT, anyone watching. We're back in our top side. So our top, I'm gonna mark it red, just like I do just for educational purposes. Our bottom lower range here is this 173. And so right now we're going to open at this lower range here. So this is crucial. This could be the name to watch this week. Obviously, every name is important, but for something to open, so quick back look in history here. May 11th, 2022 is right here, all the way through, let's see, May. So 18 months basically of, I know we kind of broke out a little bit down, but for the most part, 18 months, you guys, of consolidation in here before a breakout over and a push up. But I mean, I know we got some breaks over, but no multi-week continuation. We got some sells under. So we're opening, you guys, 173.47-ish on IWM. So this is crucial. This is super important on IWM. Small caps, smaller companies, it's tough for them to borrow against. So any inflationary fears, this is a name, definitely one to watch. So I'm looking for these bottom side wicks here. I'm just looking left and right for you guys before I mark a level. I know it's kind of quick. It won't be perfect, but it'll be pretty damn close. So lower range, you're getting some bounces here, bounce there. I think that level makes sense. Let me grab one if we break below that, and then I'll grab one more just for speed of class. And then let's get an upper mid-range here. So we're going to open around this green line. So any pushes up, what shall we look for? Definitely some candle wicks there. Candle body closes. Push up, failed breakout here. Push up, failed breakout over, retest, sell under, consolidation, breakout. I like that. I think that's a good game plan. All right, we're zoomed in now. Let's see if those levels make sense, if I'm good at what I'm doing here. So again, remember that green line, you guys, the bottom of that huge range on the daily. So I'm super hesitant to say anything about calls, but again, okay, screw it. Here's my perspective. Any consolidations you guys here, and I'm using air quotes, that is a safe buy to buy the bounce. But again, just know you're going against market sentiment, market selling pressure. But again, we don't want to buy puts at support, news or no news. If you wait for your flush to get in on a leg down. So if we open at this level here and we start holding this level, we start getting some, let me zoom in a little bit more. Yeah, if we start, there we go. That's kind of what I want, just to zoom in look for you guys. So if we start kind of double bottoming here, bounce, a little bit of a sell down, we kind of hold this pre-market level, we bounce up and we start double bottoming. This is a fairly safe time to try and grab the call bounce, okay? Again, where do we sell? What do we do? I'm in profits. I bought the bottom. Oh, this is awesome. Okay, look left immediately. We got some daily levels here for sure. Definitely that 176 round number, 175, 174, but that 176.3, that's the first line of defense. If you catch a hard bounce here, JT, yeah, said your name correctly. Definitely be trimming on the way up, brother. Hold one. If we break this, where do we go from here? Friday's low. You're not satisfied with that. You caught the bottom, trailing stop. We break over that 177. This should be your new stop. Break over 177. Keep pushing. 77 is your new stop. And we push into Friday's zone there. And, honestly, I wouldn't be greedy. Hypothetical, if we push up that 180, you bottom tick, you're going to get paid huge. You catch that move. Not saying we do that in a day or a week, but that is my game plan IWM. To be bearish on this, I need a sell under this green line. That is a sell under that huge lower demand zone, that lower support on the daily of that level. I got to see a sell down tomorrow or this week for me to want to get in puts for a late down. So any sell down, retest, take your puts there, because again, like I always say, your risk is so low because you're buying at a huge, heavy resistance because, what's support? We broke below it. So your risk is something small. Keep it small. Keep it, the top of this candle. We push up to it. We're not breaking out. Hold it. We sell under. Your reward hypothetically could be that this week. So risk, it's hard to write with the mouse, and reward is all this under here. So again, I need a sell under that for me to want to get into puts. And again, this is just day trade perspective. 50% stop, Jay, I don't like random stops. If you need a real or an exact video on how I do my stop losses, basically a quick tutorial on how I do my stop losses. If this is a gap down, it's not a super good example. I need to go back to basically JT. How I draw my stop losses is I would look, I would go to 5 minute. I would look at this candle here on the options chart, and I would see if I want to buy at support here, hypothetically, I want to see the option value. Let's just say I got the 180 call. I'm going to go to the chart. Let's pretend we're trading this in real time, this on Friday, not this stuff down here. So I'm looking to see when the stock price of IWM was down here, I'm looking to see the value of my 181 call. So let's say I bought a call here, or I want to buy a call here, and the price is 150 bucks. I'm looking at the options chart, and let's just say this is 1.35. So meaning when it went against me, the option value was 135, so a $15 loss. So to answer your question, JT, I would get in here at support, and my loss would somewhere be around a little bit less, or a little bit more, excuse me, than $15, because I don't want a $12 stop loss when I know we're getting bounces here every single time, because what's it going to do? It's going to stop you out for a $12 loss right here, and it's going to bounce, and boom, you're going to make profit. You're going to miss out on profit because your stop was too tight. So I never do a percent stop ever. Okay, I always look at the option chart. I go, hey, entry here was 150. When it sold down there, I know if we sell below those wicks, what are we doing? We're probably going to sell more. So I have a video on this for anyone wanting to watch. Send me a DM. I'll send it to you. I've been sent to a few people last week, so it's readily available if anybody needs it. Actually, I'm logged in Discord. Let me just do it really quick. Who would I send it to? Somebody's in portfolio help. Real quick here, hold on. Oh, sorry about that. Let me get out of this ad real quick. All right, there we are. So it is literally called Member Lecture, Stop Loss and Taking Profit. It's our recorded lecture on OOT, if anybody wants that. That is how I do stop losses and trading, taking profit. Okay. All right, back to the watch list. Make sure I don't lose my spot here in the chat. Just checking the chat, you guys here. Don't want to miss anybody. Yeah, JJ. IWM. JJ's comment was it pretty much respects those whole numbers. Absolutely, man. So again, you guys as day traders, going back to IWM on the daily, like, hold on. One of these days I'll get good with Thinkorswim. So so on the daily, again, we're in a range like this. If you're like a long-term investor, this is the bottom range to the top here is 10%. So if you're investing for the long term and you go, plus 10% break even, plus 10% break even, plus 10%. So as a long-term shareholder, it's like you're not really loving that, because you can look at QQQ that's up like, back-to-back years, 20, 30 something percent. and you're in IWM shares in your Roth IRA and you're like plus 10 break even, plus 10 break even. It's like, that's not fun. But my point is, as day traders for options, this is bread and butter. Like, this is literally, you set an alert. Anytime it hits here, generally speaking, you short that. Anytime it gets here at the green zone, you long it on swings or on day trading, because generally speaking, we bounce. When we get over, we continue. When we hold it and get over, we continue. Do we sell under? Yeah, we sell under. But to JJ's, comment or question, it's like, this is a kind of a blessing. Like, to be able to have something do this over and over and over. I know this is a large time frame, but like, to grab swing puts up here, you get paid. Swing calls down here, generally speaking, you get paid. Like, this is a good chart that we're back into a consolidation zone. Again, if you're an investor and you bought around 173, you're like, shit, I'm back to break even. If you didn't sell, back up here in the 225s, but that's not a bad chart to play in the coming days and the coming weeks for sure. Kath, you're a little late on SPY the first round, but I definitely do a follow-up at the end. So stick around the next 10 to 15 minutes or so, and we'll definitely circle back for that for sure. MMM, I seen that request. Get to that. All right, couple of requests. Yeah, and then I want to go back to, what else did I skip over? ASML for sure. All right, 3M. Let's get some lines going here. This was charted out. Someone had me chart this however long ago, and we're gonna come back to it because it's gonna come into play. Right now, we're gonna open. Basically, the bid ask is pretty wide. What's it? Let's just see what it's at. Let's just call it 120. Back to the daily. Interesting levels there. All right. All right, I need to look left. What do we have left of 120? How far back do we gotta go? Oh, look at that, you guys. That's the beauty of charting, the beauty of never deleting your levels. So we're gonna open at 120 tomorrow, 120. Does that level matter? Absolutely. Kind of like IWM. $6 range. Can't hate that. If you're an investor, again, on shares, you're not making a whole bunch of money there, but day trader, this is your bread and butter. You buy the bottom of the range, you short the top of the range, with stops that make sense. Any sell under the bottom of the range, we sell through, we keep selling through. So we're coming back to March 2022 zone all the way through August is this zone here. So let's get a couple levels here on the daily. It's not a huge range, so there's not a ton to mark on the daily without making it messy. But when we break down, I want to see what happens when we break down. We sell through. We break over. What do we do when we break over? All right, so that's a good starting point there. I think your comment was dollar cost average. So let's get a game plan for that. Let's just do this lower extreme as our green. That's kind of like our last chance support. So let's see, make sure I was reading your comment correctly. Yeah, and ASML dollar cost. All right, perfect. So if you don't mind, let me know in the chat. What's your average? You don't have to say if you got one share or 1,000, or if you're not comfortable saying, oh wait, oh my gosh, sorry guys, I'm on the wrong chart. Let me do it 3M and then ASML. Man, I'm losing my mind here. I'm trying to read the chat. All right, to the person who asked about this, so it's going to open at 120-ish. So again, kind of that lower mid-range here where it's opening. Same theme of the night, repeat theme of the night. Any holds here, look for a repeat bounce. How do I sell? Where do I sell for profit? You got zones here all the way up. So ideally, you buy in at 120. Hypothetically, you buy a call bounce. Take your profit where you like it. Big levels, 12246, 124, basically 124 flat, 126.33, and upper range over that 126.33. That was that important daily, 128.2. Any sells under 120, I think 119.31 comes quick, and then 117.83. That is that lower range. So any holds in here in the coming days, weeks, play this range, respect the levels, know that we got it on the daily chart. Any sells under here, it's going to get ugly and ugly for probably a lot longer, because that is a huge support of basically, sell, sell, sell. And, buyers and sellers are fighting back and forth. Maybe we consolidate. If we break down here, that's basically buyers, just totally giving up. Maybe we have really weak markets, but any holds here, and this is not a spot where I want to start to be bearish. Like if I watch a sell multiple days, multiple weeks, and we come into a huge support zone, this isn't where, like I always say, can you make money on a day trade puts? Sure, but I'm not starting a put position here at all. I need a sell under a weak market that makes sense, a weak sector, 3M, whatever it is, or stuff to go along with that sector, for a sell down on some more puts. So, day trade puts, but a swing put position here, not the best spot to start. You want to get your puts on a bounce. You miss the bounces, you take them at these upper ranges here, because likely going to see some selling pressure here, first attempt on Friday's close for sure. All right. Now I need to get back to their dollar cost average. ASML. All right. Now we're back to their dollar cost average. I see, Norman. Calm down, man. I got to get to the chart and stuff in order, man. I see your comments and questions. Got to go in order, man. All right. We are going to open roughly. Damn, it's expensive stock. Let's go to the daily. I don't know if I've ever charted this, so let's see if it makes sense. Look at that one line chart. Beautiful. Does that make sense? We're opening. Absolutely. Is it an important level? Absolutely. Let's take a look at that one line chart. Okay, so now I'm caught up. Let me know in the chat, the person that wanted this dollar cost average, if you're comfortable saying your average. If not, that's okay too. I can just give you perspective on where I would slowly dollar cost average into this name, and where I look to be taking profit if that is your plan on this. Consolidation, breakdown, push up here, failed breakout, consolidation, breakover, support, failed breakdown. That's how I'm getting these levels here. And a lower range, getting a game plan here, down here. 630 average. All right, we can roll that. Thank you for replying. Let's get a line here. So their average is 630. Let's just get a nice thick line so we kind of figure that out when we zoom in. So I'm looking at the daily chart here. I'm back in 2022 zone here, just kind of seeing how this level respects it. So back in 2021, it looks like this was the all-time high breakout, retest, a little bit of consolidation. I mean, it's big money moving, but not really consolidation, but a little bit of a range here, and then breakout over this top zone, and then coming back into it. JJ, I'm not sure. I don't know if you were asking about that in Trade Floor or in help on our Discord. I'm not sure. River's super smart. Zoro's pretty smart. I am not super good on Thinkorswim even after several months for stuff like that. But we can definitely figure out. I know on Webull there's a countdown timer for candles on Webull. I don't use it, but some may find it helpful. If anybody knows, look at JJ's question in the chat, you guys. If there's a timer for Thinkorswim, help him out. But let's see, it's opening at 562. Is that what we said? Wait, kind of a wide spread. Oh wait, this level here, yeah. So we're gonna open here. So yeah, kind of sold through. What would be your average on it? So how I'd play this, I don't know if this is a dollar cost for a long-term, like several year hold, or dollar cost for a flip, but kind of here's how I'd play this is, if your average is here, If let's just say you got a first buy in here at 630. If we come into the lowest range, long-term, perfect. So your lowest range, last chance support, if you don't buy any more, you're going to be down 20%. If we come to this basically 505 level. So what I would do with any long-term hold is I have a set amount. So this is a fairly expensive stock. Let's just say hypothetically, my intended buy-in for this stock, let's just say it's $5,000. So I might buy a share here at 630. I might nibble a little bit, and I buy a little bit here at this 505. So decision time comes down here. We get this 505. Going back to the daily, if it's a good name, you have to decide, okay, it's coming into this huge lower range here. I believe in the company. I don't know what they do, but let's just say this was Apple. So I believe in the company. Apple's getting whacked like everybody else. Do I think Apple, 5, 10, 12, 15 years from now, whatever it is going to be, this is not Apple again, it's just an example because I don't know what this company does, but do I think Apple is going to be higher several years from now than 505? My answer is yes. Apple's a successful company. They make money, sure. So I have to decide. I'm looking at a 20% loss down into here if I buy into this 505. Do I want to hold and keep that money tied up? Again, hypothetical. I think I said $10,000. Let's say I have 10,000 invested in here. I'm red 20%, again, hypothetical. Is it worth me holding and having us range a little bit here and holding that money? Or if we sell through, again, do I want more pain, or do I free up this money? Again, I'm looking at potentially more than 20% loss on shares, although it's a good company. Do I free up that money and put it elsewhere and say, maybe I was wrong on the timing. The tariff news is just too strong, whatever it is. We sold through this and we sell through and you feel better because now we're down in the 400s or whatever it is. But you have to decide it's a long-term hold, but how much pain do you want to see? Like, is it literally like, a blue chip company, it's a good company, you're red and you just literally not log into your Roth, and then come September, October, we're trickling up. Next year, January, you break out, and we're back over your original dollar cost average, and you're not even worried about what happened this year. So it's all about how much money you have in, how much money you have tied up. Is it a good company? Right now, we should just be investing in good companies, no shit companies. Don't be chasing GameStop hype because it's on Reddit. Invest in good companies. And so you got to decide, hypothetically, is this 20% worth keeping invested? Because again, we could range here, and you might start getting flustered 6 months, 8 months, a year from now, -10 +5, -10 +5 break even. It's like, do you want to have that money tied up? So it's all just about your investment horizon time, how much money you have in, and is this doing what you wanted? So again, 5 years, 10 years, a year from now, whatever it is, you have to decide, if we start consolidating here, what you want to do with that money. Fundamental mass production semiconductor chips with the world's top chip maker. Oh, very nice. Interesting. Yeah. So, that's reading that comment that has potential for sure. Semiconductor, everybody wants on that boat. So just decide. So you say your dollar cost average is in here. For me, with all the weakness in the market, Errol, I would probably just set an alert somewhere down here and just kind of see how it plays out. Like a good company, I'm not worried if I'm down 20%. If I'm buying Apple or Microsoft, that I'm 39. My retirement is in 25, 30 years, whatever it is. Like, I'm not worried of being down 20%. Again, I'm using the example of Apple. If Apple, I'm 20% ran shares on my first entry, I'm not worried. But what I do is I want a dollar cost average on huge zones that make sense. So for me, I would just set a level here down this, it's more like 505. This is a big mover, so we could zoom in and check the chart, make sure it lines up. But I would set an alert, see if, and just nibble a little bit more down here and watch the price action. Like, we break 505, I'm not going to cut at 500. I want to see price action down here. Hopefully that answers your question, helps you. If not, let's chat in the DMs. All right, let me scroll up on the chat, make sure we're caught up. Just reading everything. All right. Norvin. Norvin wants waste management. And then after that, we're going to do a SPY and QQQ recap for the people that kind of show up late or want some extra notes. All right, we are going to open. Roughly, wait, let me just zoom in here because the spread is so wide after hours. A name like this. Shit, we're going to open at the daily 200. I know markets are weak, but I am not taking puts at the daily 200 moving average. I know that. So, wow, look at that. Decent setup, guys, for sure. Norton's got a decent setup here. So we're opening right here. So this is a daily 200 moving average. And you see anytime we trade into it, how buyers or bulls, investors, whatever you want to call it, fight with every fiber to get hold above it, get into it, held it. We see when we sell under the daily 200, selling pressure. We get back up, big battle. So this interesting chart, we're kind of opening in the middle of what I would call this little range here. Any sells under 215, it's going to get short-term or continued weakness. But let's build a game plan. Yeah, any bounces, any holds of this, definitely. My first instinct is a relief bounce at 215, relief bounce off this daily 200 moving average. No way I'm short here unless we get a sell under, like I said, for every name for this class, a sell under. I don't necessarily mean this far, but a sell under and a breakdown retest. Yeah, take your puts there. That's super easy, super reasonable stop out for potential profit down here. But any holds of that level, definitely hold here. No real breakout, but don't break down. We start consolidating. I'm definitely looking to catch the bounce on this if and when markets make sense too, for sure. I'm not taking puts here at a huge support and a huge moving average support. No way. Because these moving averages, guys, this yellow, this purple, these are literally what they sound like. They're moving averages. They're moving with the price action. They are a form of support and they are a form of resistance. They are a form of support. So this is definitely support tomorrow on WM waste management, I think is what it is. Picking up your garbage. That's what that is. All right. Recap, SPY and QQQ, then we'll wrap up class, you guys. For those that came late or need a game plan. We are selling. We're overextended. I feel like I talk about this every class. I haven't talked about this in a while. Let's go the 1 hour. Because I know we talk about this every time. Just for perspective, doesn't mean we're going to bounce. Because like I said, there's part of my language, but there's a shit ton of fear in the market right now. And if it keeps going, what I'm going to show you doesn't really matter, but just for perspective. So this is the daily 9. Stair stepping down. This is the daily 20. And just pay attention to this gap. Smaller, bigger gap, bigger gap, bigger gap, bigger gap. Large gap here. Start to level out consolidation. What do? We come back, we retrace, we come back to it for a retest. Doesn't mean we have to break out. We can sell more for sure. But my point is, we start seeing these huge gaps, these huge extensions. Again, I'm hesitant, but just be on bounce alert. Don't be that guy or girl that gets caught on puts and we pump and we pump and we pump and you don't take your loss on puts because we keep pumping because it's a market relief bounce. So again, get back to my drawing here for the point of my chart is consolidation back to that daily 9. This daily 9 right like this. Consolidation, boom, sell down, push up, resistance, sell. And now look, we are super far. Like the daily 9 is up here. We are so far from it. Again, I'm not saying buy calls, but I am saying be on alert. If we start consolidating or we come into here, this 480 zone, again, I'm on SPY and, no one's really winning down here. I'm not saying buy calls, but I'm saying be hesitant on puts because if and when that bounce comes, it's going to be hard. It's going to be vicious. And Eventually, we're going to retest this. Is it a 1-day rally? Is it a 3-day rally? A 1-week rally? I don't know, but all I know is that is a hard sell. We're getting very, very overextended. So if no news comes out, sometimes, what do they say? No news is good news. So some levels to watch here, you guys, on how to trade this. Again, any opens over, let's say we gap 500. So we're halfway filled this gap, 500. We know how hard it was when we traded around 500. Was it last year, 2 years ago? That consolidation, we finally broke over. We never looked, I'm not saying we never looked back, but the move was big. So any gaps over 500, I'm absolutely taking my bounce shot at 500. Round psychological number, whatever you want to call it, you know, that sexy 500, spy to 500 we all were going towards a couple years ago. That's what I'm going towards. But any break over and hard sells, like big selling pressure, take your short. Take your short. A bounce or a sell through retest at 500, absolutely. Same thing here. Sell under, we don't quite get to 494.28. Hope you guys are marking these levels that were late to class or could join class right away, because that hourly 20 is going to kind of trickle in something like this. So if that's stacked like that and we push up to that, you got two forms of resistance right there. Take your puts. But again, any pushes over, we're probably going to go see that 500. Don't fight it with your puts. Don't take an average, take an average, take an average when it's like you could have cut your puts for a small loss and got in the party of the bulls right into 500. So keep your losses small, you guys. Do not blow your portfolio because you're too emotional, because you don't want to take the loss. It's okay to be wrong. We're all wrong as traders. If we open around here, it's kind of a coin flip, or meaning it kind of makes it tricky. So we got this little pocket here. We'll have to see what this pre-market action is, find a pre-market low, pre-market high, build a game plan. Any sells under that 490, it's probably going to trigger a sell into this 480. Does it come in one day? I don't know, but it could come into these levels here. So 480, 47, again, 470. There's a lot of levels in here. I'll try and get you guys some intraday levels pre-market here, and try and find that zone there. QQQ, a little bit easier to trade. Well, a little bit easier if we get a bounce. Drink of water, sorry. SPY, we talked about that 400, or excuse me, 500. QQQ, similar story. Trickle in here. We got some nice levels here. Sorry, let me zoom in just a bit more. Build our game plan. Norvin, 397, 395 on QQQ. Yeah, for sure, man. Definitely at 395, brother. Absolutely. QQQ, let's see when and how we open. Any trickles and holds, you know, fake. When I say fake, I mean a sell down on the 5-minute, but a big wick on the bottom side. So like, you know, a sell under the candle body starts like this and a big buy back up here. If we start seeing that down there, you know, I'm leaning towards a relief bounce. Again, I don't know if it comes and we get a 25-cent move or a $2 or $3 rip. I don't know, but any sells and holds here, you know, right now the market's, again, there's a lot of fear in the market, but they're also looking for any reason to buy. And if they get it, I think we bounce, we gap fill pretty damn quick. Any sells under, let's build a game plan. Any sells under tomorrow or later this week on this 406, I think, you know, we trickle in here, and that 400 is our magnet, kind of like that SPY 500. Any trickles in there. But again, if you miss this sell and you miss the trim and you miss all the premium tags of everyone banking, it's like, don't look at us sell into 400 on Q and go, okay, now I want my puts. I know OT's up, you know, 86% on the puts, but now I'm going to buy in here because I was at a work meeting. I'm going to buy in because they're cheering. No, we don't take puts at this huge support, huge 400 psychological number. Okay. Find your round numbers, find the levels that make sense, you guys. Again, gap up and downs are very, very hard, because it just makes, you know, the move possibly vicious, you know, back and forth. Let's see. Marcel, hopefully I'm saying that correct. I'm sorry if not. does the 500 psychological number have an effect on anything, how the market moves? So, I mean, yeah, I mean, it has an effect. So, when, because SPY, whether you do or maybe do not know, that's okay. SPY is literally an ETF. It's a basket of stocks. It is the 500 biggest companies. Give me 1 second in case they don't know, just some education for you guys. You guys can leave if you want. We're 15 minutes over, but just to help out here. So Apple is a single company, a single stock. So the S&P 500 is a basket of literally the 500 biggest companies, and that is these. And this is the weight of the S&P 500. So what happens is if we push into 500, get out of here, damn spam, I'm trying to draw in here. So if, let's just say these top 5, you can see how much their weight is. 2.5%, 3, 3.25, 3 3/4, 5.5, 6, 6.5. So if these names are pushing, most likely SPY is pushing. If these are selling, most likely SPY is selling. So to answer your question, SPY 500, I mean, the way you worded it is, yes, 500 matters. If we get over it, that's a good thing for buyers, a good thing for investors. They like that number, they like that round number. It gives them hope if they get over 500. We'll likely hold. We want to see big pushes on that. If we see sales under, that's going to induce more selling pressure. But again, these names are inside of the S&P 500. So like the S&P 500 is this is a basket of stocks of companies. So again, when these move together, like Google could have a down day, but if these top 5 or top 9 are moving up, it doesn't matter if Google's having a down day, the S&P is probably going to move up as well. But if like these top 10 are all selling, chances are SPY is probably selling as well. Side note, so if SPY, you're seeing a lot of chop on SPY, and you're like, hey, the QQQs are going up, but SPY is chopping. Look at XLE. It's hard to draw with the mouse. XLF. Because energy and financials are also in SPY. Tech is just QQQ. This is horrible drawing, looks like a 3-year-old. So again, if SPY is chopping, you're like, hey, why the hell are we chopping so much when tech is moving? These names are probably chopping as well or selling, and it's offsetting what QQQ is doing. It's making SPY chop. So that's why there's some days you'll see flips or river. They'll play Qs because the price action is just cleaner. Like tech is moving up and down, and these names are doing a bunch of wacky shit, and it's stopping out on SPY. Pay attention. If Flips is playing QQQ, he's likely saying, hey, I like this setup better, because QQQ is only tech. It's only big tech names. Okay, this drawing looks lovely. Let's get out of that. Hopefully answers your question. If not, hopefully I can answer in a different way. But with that, you guys, man, SPY's at, yeah, 49,490. Oh, wait, yeah. So with that, you guys, I'm in the chat. I appreciate y'all for being here. Pretty good turnout for Mastermind, all 24, 25, you guys. Great questions. Laurel, let's talk in DMs later tomorrow pre-market, and I'll answer your flow questions for you. It just takes a little bit of time on flow. Kath, Laurel, JT, Norvin, all you guys, appreciate you guys. Good questions, good charting, you guys. And you guys that request these names, like mark them down. Like these are very, very tradable names. CLH, Waste Management, 3M, all those names, you guys, very, very tradable setups. Like this way market for you guys to build a game plan for you all. But with that, you guys, I'm in the chat. Have a great night. Again, trade smart, you guys. Trade with some patience. Build a plan. Do not full port ever. Do not full port the opening 5-minute candle tomorrow. Let the market play out. Let's see what we get tomorrow, you guys. We might get some big moves, some good moves. We may chop, may range. We may have a very nice trending day, but let's see. Mark some levels. If we trickle into that 500, we know what to do there. Trickle down these levels here, we know what to do there. So, yeah, Kath, I usually post charts every day when I'm not super busy with some work stuff. I do have another side project, work from home project that just hit my desk today. So my actual alerts on the small port stuff Monday, Tuesday, you're probably not going to see anything from me because I got to knock that project out by Thursday is my deadline. So I'll try and post some SPY levels for pre-market for you guys, SPY and QQQ at the minimum. But a daily watch list, it takes me 30 to 40 minutes a day to type that up for you guys. And I probably don't have time pre-market to do that because I'm just going to be swamped with work. But again, you guys, without me in the chat, DMs are always open, you guys, always open. I'm here to help you guys. But have a good night with you guys. I'm in the chat. Thank you.